Hello, welcome to Pop Along RC, the RC car channel dedicated to RC car racing, and this video is all about the Tamiya Mini. This is all you need to know about the Tamiya Mini, in fact. So Tamiya have just released, or re-released, the M-05, but with the Monte Carlo Mini shell. It's an absolute stunner. There's going to be loads of people buying this car, and therefore you need to know all the little tips to get that built so it is perfect. So before we get on to building and racing your Tamiya, let's just take a quick look back in time at the Tamiya Mini. So the Tamiya Mini started way back when, and it has been on multiple chassis. The first one that we really raced was this one here. This is a Tamiya M-03, and this was a really fun race platform. So the first Tamiya Mini was the M-01, and that was a front wheel drive. The M-02 was rear wheel drive. The M-03, which is this one, was a front wheel drive, and we have raced these cars a lot. So the next car that came out after the M-03 was the M-04, which again was rear wheel drive. Then came the M-05. So the M-05 is a front wheel drive car. The M-06, which I've got one just in this box here, is a rear wheel drive, and then came the M-07 and the concept cars. But the M-05 is a fantastic platform, really simple build, really easy to get set up, and there's only a few little changes you want to make to these cars in order to get them sort of race ready and performing on the track. I've got quite a few little hop-ups on this, which I'm going to talk you through, because you might want to consider doing it as you build it rather than upgrading it at a later date. So I'll go through that in a second. Now, this is actually built on the first version of the M-05, therefore it's got a round cutout for the battery, whereas these ones here, I'll show you on this one, this is the version 2 M-05, which has the square cutout, so you can run a wider array of batteries. So obviously the first version with the round cutout, that would have suited the sort of NIM batteries that we used to run back in the day. So let's talk about building your M-05. The build itself is quite a simple build. In terms of tools that you'll need, for most Tamiyas, they run off of the JIS screws, so it's not a Phillips screwdriver, it's a JIS one, and you can get yourself the specific Tamiya screwdrivers, which will help you to get that done. If you wanted to, you could replace some of these with hex screws. That's what quite a lot of people do, and again, if you were going to do that, you'll do that before you build it for the first time. In terms of putting the car together, there really isn't much to it. So at the back, we've got the lower arms and the upper arms are fixed, so therefore there's no adjustments with the rear. In terms of the shock positions, again, very limited on the box stock M-05. On this one, being that it's my race one, I have actually got a carbon fibre rear shock tower, which allows me to step up the shocks at the back. So it's a little bit of adjustment there for performance, whereas at the front I've bolted it straight onto the chassis, so I am running as the car was meant to be, so there's no adjustments there at the front. You may notice on this car as well, we have fitted the aluminium shocks. So these are Racing 50mm shocks. You can get the TRF mini shocks, they're probably 3 times the price, whereas the Racing ones, they do the job. They are fully adjustable, so you can select what oils you want to run, what pistons you want to run, and it comes with lots of spring options as well. In terms of the balance of the car, I tend to run firmer at the front and softer at the rear, and what that means is when you're coming into the turn and the car is slowing down, it doesn't shift the weight over into the front too much, because if you do that, the rear end sort of unweights and it will just snap round on you. So you add a little bit firmer at the front, gives you sort of better corner control. So on this one here, I've also fitted the Racing quick release for the battery. Again, it's it was more for convenience on race day than anything else. The normal system that you have on these cars is just fine. So as you can see on this one, you literally take out these two pins and slide the battery in. So in terms of essentials, not essential, just a little bit more convenient. When we're racing these, because of the intensity at which we race and the gearing that we run, they can get a little bit warm. So this one has been fitted with a fan just to keep it cool. So in terms of the build, this one here, we've got some adjustable turnbuckles on the steering links so that we can adjust toe in and toe out, whereas all the other adjustments are fixed. And with Iconic Cup rules, you have to run the box stock front end. You're not allowed to make any changes. If we have a look at this M-05 that we've got over here, you can see there's quite a lot of blue bling on this one. So we've got lots of anodized parts. So I've got the Yeah Racing lower arms, the uprights, got Yeah Racing turnbuckles, heatsink, and the steering rack as well has been upgraded on this one. The steering rack can be set up quite nicely with the box stock one. Sometimes you do develop a little bit of slop after a few months of racing if you take too many big hits, but generally speaking, the steering on these is pretty stable. If you do run sort of the TTO1s and the TTO2s, there's a lot more slop in the front ends, and actually on the MB01 that was really loose on the front end. So actually the M05 has a much better steering rack than some of the other Tamiyas for the same sort of price. Now, the two main areas that you really want to focus on when building this car is ball bearings, your ball bearings. So all of the Tamiyas tend to come with plastic bushings. So the first thing you want to do is get yourself some bearings. So I tend to use RC bearings. They have pre-made sets where they've got all the right bearings for the car, so you can literally go on there, order the bearings for the car that you're looking to build, and he will provide all the bearings that you need. So bearings is essential, and then we need to talk about the front diff. Now, the front diff on a M05 is really important. When you are building it, what you want is you want there to be some resistance in the two wheels, but you don't want the diff to be locked. If the diff is locked, performance would probably be quite good, but for a lot of the race meets that we go to, having a locked diff would be illegal. So you want that diff to be quite thick, but you don't want it to be too thick where you haven't got a diff action when you turn it. So the way we do that, there's a couple of ways actually. The first way is by packing out the diff that comes in the kit. You can do that with shims, and the way that I prefer to do it is using AW grease. Quite expensive for the little tubes that you get, but if you use AW grease in your diffs, it acts like a little putty between the gears and it can restrict the movement. The other way of doing it is, again, it's an upgrade, so you can go with the Yeah Racing oil-filled diffs, and therefore you can put 500,000 weight oil or even 1,000,000 weight oil in there to thicken it up. For the Iconic Cup where we race in the M05, you can actually run the oil-filled diffs, whereas with the M03 you have to stick with the original diff, and therefore using the AW grease is the preferred option. So in terms of tyres, you have got the box stock tyres and the box stock wheels. They tend to come with sort of their standard, I think they're radial tyres they call them. But for racing, if you're going to use the Tamiya tyres, we recommend running the M grips. What you want to do is put M grips front and back, and you'd want to put the blue inserts as well, blue or grey inserts in those tyres, and then you need to apply super glue to the outside of the front wheels. And what that does is, as you go into the turn and the weight starts to shift onto the outside, it hits the super glue, and that super glue just slides and the car plants itself. So it's about controlling the traction roll as you go into turns or shifting from one side to another. So if you're going through a chicane and you're shifting right to left, you'll get that shift, and you want to have the super glue on the outside of the front tyres only to be able to just take out that traction roll and keep the car planted. Now, in the racing that we tend to do, we run slick tyres, and we are running a variety of tyres actually. These are the MTC tyres, and you can get lots of different race compounds. We've done a whole video on tyre compounds, which I'll put in the link down below. So if you want to know exactly what the difference is between these tyres, go for it. Check out that video. However, what I tend to do, the softest tyres I can get are 24. So I go 24s all round. So if the car is spinning out, so the back's overtaking the front, go with a softer set of tyres on the rear. If you've got horrible understeer, go with softer tyres at the front. And you can actually do quite a lot of setup management just by playing around with tyres, and then also your additive as well. So by using additive, which is a chemical that we put on the tyres to soften the rubber, gives you even more traction on the track. So once the car is in a working window, so you've got the softer springs at the rear, slightly harder ones at the front, you can then sort of balance out the performance using tyres and tyre prep. So as you can see, I have got quite a few M03s. I think there's 3 in there, one there, this one here. I could probably do with getting a few of these on the road. So this one again has got lots of blue bling, lots of little upgrades on it. So this one wouldn't be legal for the Iconic Cup, but for club racing it'll be absolutely fine. So I think I will get, from these 4 or 5 M05s I've got, I am going to get another one up and running. It's a quick whistle stop tour really of the M05. I've also got an M06, an M07, another M07. I've been thinking about getting an M08, but the next one I'm going to get will be another Tamiya Mini Monte Carlo, and I'm going to go from start to finish, build all the way through to racing that, hopefully at the Iconic Cup next year. So this is my sort of blueprint, that's what I'm aiming for. And if you want to know exactly how to do it step by step, let me know and I will do a step-by-step build video of getting a car set up, although most of the information you need is in this video. If you like what you've seen, like, subscribe, hit the old ding dong bell, and hopefully we'll see you trackside soon.